the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of the Wednesday, June 12th, 2024 remote meeting of the Franklin Township Trails Advisory Committee was posted on the township's website and electronically transmitted to the officially designated newspapers, indicating that this remote meeting would take place online at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, June 12th, 2024.
And I also mentioned during the council meeting yesterday that this meeting is going to be online at 7 p.m.
Oh, great.
Thank you. Okay, roll call.
Okay, Vanessa Jones,
Present.
Anne Marie Orlowski. I know you're here. Oh, I see you there, Anne Marie. I just don't hear you, but I don't think you're at your chair, so that's okay. Christopher Gonda.
Present.
Okay, then we got Jim Kolegowski.
Here.
Jignasha Patel.
Present.
Robert Kovacs.
I am present.
Okay. Pravesh Lal.
Present.
Okay, Councilman Karazi.
Present.
And did I miss anyone? No, I don't think so. Okay, great.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the May 8th, 2024 Trails Advisory Committee minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as is.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Any need for discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hearing no nays or abstentions, motion carries. Next item on our agenda. Pardon? Sorry. Next item on the agenda is public comment.
Okay, we do have, it looks like some members of the public, Vanessa, so if you want to open it up, and then I can go through them.
Okay, do we have a motion to open for public comment?
I'll move to open it to public comment.
And can I have a second?
Second.
Okay. So the floor is now open to the public. Is there anybody who'd like to introduce themselves and say a few words?
I'm trying to see if I can figure out. So this is, okay. So we do have a few well, first I see one I know, which is Bill Bowman. Would you like to say any comments?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for being here, Bill.
I'm probably going to say this wrong, so please correct me. Amarnath?
Yep.
Would you like to say any comments?
No, this is first time I just watching. Let me see.
Amarnath was with us for last two hike. He was there at Bunker Hill and also at
John Clyde.
Yes.
Oh, great.
Oh.
Great.
He joined us.
Thank
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And then we do have another person listed as meeting guest, but it doesn't say a name. So if someone is out there with and you're listed as meeting guest and you'd like to comment, just please turn your mic on.
Is that in addition to Chris, who's listed as meeting guest right now?
Oh, it might be Chris. That might be, let me see, is there two or is there one? Nope, it's just one. So that's you, Chris. Okay, we're good. Don't worry. Okay.
Okay. Can we have a motion to close public comment?
I move to close public comment.
Thank you, Chris. And a second?
Second.
From Anne Marie. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, we are now closed to the public. The next thing on our agenda is our site plan review.
Okay, so no site plan review for this meeting. Maybe for the next meeting, because there are some things on our AC agenda for Monday, so nothing yet though.
Okay. And no updates from previous things we've talked about, right?
No, nothing yet.
Okay. Moving on to new business, pathways and trails plan. Just wanted to
Okay.
address the final comments from OSAC.
Yes, so I'd like to get these comments addressed and just completed tonight so that I can get it to Mark Healy so that he can begin reviewing it with the planning board. So I'm gonna share my screen here, share screen, hold on. All right, okay. So at the last meeting, we ended on this one. We did talk about this, the sidewalk. Am I right in saying that we talked about the concept of the Treptow Road, Martino Drive path? Did we come to a decision on? No, we didn't, because I would have had what the answer is here.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, so the first one is the Treptow Road Martino Drive path connector. I'll show it to you in 1 second. I just want to see exactly. Okay, this is in section 4. Okay, so the comment is that the sidewalk along Treptow ends before the brook. The original developer of the development to the north did not extend the sidewalk because it would have required a stream crossing permit from NJDEP. That was the first thing. The second thing is that there's a living fence of tightly spaced shrubs along Treptow in front of the house at the corner of Willow. The corner of Willow is to the road and sidewalk. So let me get up here what we're looking at. I'm going to have to kind of be bouncing back and forth, so just bear with me here. Martino. Yes, there is absolutely Martino is listed in there. Okay, Treptow. Okay. So we want to go to that one so we can see the connection. Okay. So all right, is this what they're talking about here or no? That can't be it.
I think it's labeled as such.
Yeah. So again, basically what it's saying is that the sidewalk along Treptow ends before the brook. There's a reason apparently that it ended, which is that a stream crossing from DEP would have been required and it was way too difficult to get. So I think the commenter for this is basically saying that extending this path is not really the best idea because it may require this stream crossing. And also right now, there's been some improvements made to that area where the living fence, which is basically shrubs, like big shrubs, have been placed there. So that's the comment for there. So what do you guys think about that? So I guess do we leave it in? So we can leave it in and we can say, we can add something that says, we understand that, I just want to look and see nope, that's a different one. Okay. We can say we understand that, a stream crossing permit may be required, but it's worth keeping in the plan. I don't know if we want to take it out. Up to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I will say actually that's and I was interested in this when we were talking about it, and I did some thinking about it and connecting, and I finally see it all and connect it all in my mind. I get the difficulty that the person is saying that there's a stream, and a thing, but this is actually the circuit I bike.
Okay,
okay. All the time, and Willow connects, right? This is a great place for a trail, and this is the way to get from Willow to the park, right, to Colonial Park, and this particular stretch of it is the most dangerous for people that are either biking or walking or doing anything. So if you're coming from Colonial and you want to end up on the other side of Willow, right? So you know how Willow goes, and it is close to vehicular traffic, but there's a little gap in it so that you can continue to walk, and go through.
Right.
This stretch of Treptow Road where the bike path ends, and then it becomes incredibly narrow, right? And this is where the cars come and hunt you, when you're on a bicycle or you're on foot. So I get it. Like, the comments aren't wrong that there's a lot of obstacles, to making this happen. You're right. There's a brook. Yep. You're right. There's overgrowth. You're right. There's all these things, but that doesn't mean we don't need to find some sort of connector here, right? So
Right.
I get it. that these obstacles are here, but as you are saying, it's still worth keeping in the plan, because if we can overcome these obstacles, this would be a huge benefit of connecting,
Yeah.
these different connections, different parts of the town from
Yeah.
one another.
I agree with you. I had the kind of exact same feeling when I read the comment. So
Yeah.
I do agree with you, Rob.
Yeah, they're not wrong. The comments are true, but I still wouldn't take it out of the plan. So,
Anyone else have a response to that, or?
I think the comments are helpful, just giving some of that history, and it's just really identifying what the next step would have to be, right? To, what we would have to go through the DEP to do. So not impossible, but just a step that has to be taken.
Okay. Okay. So we can absolutely leave it in. We don't have to accept comments if we feel that they are important to remain in. So, all right. So let's leave that.
So
I think that makes sense.
That makes sense. So Robert, you do see a way to make this happen that wouldn't.
well, I see the difficulty. I see that there is a brook, right? And
Right.
I see that it's very overgrown. And I see that, that there is, I see that it's not easy, right, to make this connection, but I see the value in our, in continuing to see if there's a way to overcome these difficulties and ultimately connect, because this is a important connector link, right? And and we're talking like 200 yards. That's all they got to do is find a way to make 200 yards to keep this from becoming, this is the single most unpleasant and most dangerous thing if you're coming from Colonial Park to my part of town, right, through Willow, because you have a bike path, up until this point, and then the road is super narrow. I'm watching it, I'm kind of like, I'm familiar with it, but I'm looking at it on Google, Maps as we speak, on Street View, right? It's super, there's nothing, there's no shoulder, there's no anything, there's no gap, whatsoever. It's a 2-lane road, and there's like a 300 yard stretch of it that you got to get to before you get to Willow, right? And many bikers will either go straight on Martino Drive, where there's now a bike path again, or they'll turn left on Willow to go through that, cars only, right? Cars are restricted from there, right? So there's no traffic. It's a pleasant place to bike. It's a great, wide, road on the other side. It's like 200 yards that we got to fix to make it be safe.
So what I'm asking is it feasible to fix it?
I don't know sitting here right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question there too, if I may put in there. I've driven that road and I do drive on it quite regularly. When you're going from Demott into Martino and then you get into Triptow, there is this junction. It's about 200 yards, like Robert rightly pointed out. Now, I also have a question, is that was there a reason why there was no spacing? Because that house on the corner is the reason why that situation is there. Their border just abuts that road.
Right.
And it's only like, it's not that there is a lot of shrubbery and there's a lot of trees and shrubs over there. It's just that the land from the house that actually like really goes to the corner.
I'm not so sure. Well, yeah, I don't know. It might be true. I don't know where their land ends. I don't know if there's any easement, for the
exactly.
town between the road.
Was there a reason why that home was allowed that easement to go right to the corner? Because normally there is spacing left, and it is, if you go beyond 200 yards onto Treptow, there's a spacing and there's a whole.
If we're talking about the same house, the corner that's on the house that's on the corner of Wilson, Treptow, where Wilson, Treptow, and Martino come together. There's a pump station there, right? A sewerage authority pump station there. Yeah, but I don't know where that house's property begins and ends, right? The one that has the shrubs and the wall of foliage growing right up against the road so that you can't see anything in any direction. That I don't know who actually owns that land, right? So
okay.
So is that where the stop sign is you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So it seems we should just leave it in.
Yeah. Like I don't know where the lot begins and ends. this
All
is
right.
So I
sure.
think we'd have to
Kind
like
of a
do further
neat thing.
research, you
Yeah.
know, to
Right, that's
move forward with it.
That's the
that's it.
corner there.
That's the lot you're looking at
Yeah.
B424.12.
That's true.
So, and you see how there is a bit of green, right? I don't, like I said, I
Yeah.
don't know where the, there's some space on the other side, as well, right? So, it doesn't
Yes.
necessarily have to be on that side of the road. But that little stretch, that's the dangerous bit,
Right.
if you
It is
survive
yes.
to Wilson, there's two bits that I take my life into my hands, the 30 seconds I have to spend on Easton Avenue and this bit of road. If I can survive those two, then I've had a good day, right? So,
Yeah.
So Tara, like in our plan, like what are we proposing to do here? We're proposing to have the bike path go in that area, right?
Yes, we are proposing, okay, hold on, I gotta go back. We're basically proposing to connect there's an interrupted bike path basically there.
Yeah.
Because the sidewalk is not there and now we know why. So we are proposing to construct the bike path that connects the existing bike path from Martino Drive to Treptow Road. So it looks like it's an extension of approximately the proposed extension at Treptow Road and Martino Drive and extending down Martino to DeMott would be approximately 5,000 feet.
Yeah. If you look at it, you'll see that the sidewalk right ends with the development or the bike path, sidewalk, whatever you want to call it. And then I think there's probably 2 lots that don't have it anymore. And then it'll continue again when you get on the other side to Martino.
Yeah, once you cross over. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's just that's a cool spot too, because like I said, that left turn, if you're coming from the park, will take you, in a very, very pleasant way to another completely different part of town, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think
it's a good thoroughfare for biking and walking. It's a good trail.
Yeah. What we're looking at with this plan is concepts. None of these projects are set in stone. I think keeping it in there because, for example, if you look at the map, I mean, this map is not, of course, it's going to be off by a foot or two here and there. But if the overgrowth is onto the road, I mean, and we wanted to do that, we could cut the vegetation back. The permitting is going to be an issue, but it always is. Permitting with DEP whenever you have to cross a stream or a brook is just very, very, stressful, but it's not impossible. It's just, would we want to go through it? So I think it is an important connector and I think we leave it in. And if it ever gets done, that's great. And if it doesn't, then, it's still an important connector, I think.
Yeah, I think leaving it in the plan that doesn't mean we have the resources. There's a lot of things in this plan that aren't going to get done.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay. All right. At the last meeting, we said here, Negri Napodi, I just noticed, need more investigation. But the thing is, when we're submitting the final plan, we can't say, we're thinking about this. It can't get adopted into the planning board until it's a final, like there's no more comments, right, from us. So we're going to have to address this comment, which is basically, let me go back. The loop trailer on the bird blind is not recommended. People in the blind do not want people walking behind them or near the pond disturbing the birds they are trying to observe. And at the last meeting, we said, oh, we have to think about that and see what we think. See if it's, something we should keep in or take out. So that is what we are on right now.
So it's my understanding that is the trail that has been there for a long, long time. That is behind the bird blind.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people are looking out, they're looking out in the opposite, they're looking out towards the pond. We're talking about how, because the entryway is off the trail.
Right.
For people who need, assistance or need to use that ramp.
Right.
So get rid of the trail.
Right.
That's a problem.
I think that one I do agree to leaving in. I think it has been there. No one is going to walk directly in front of the blind because the pond is there. I mean, I guess you could if you were willing to be partially in the pond. I don't think there's anyone that's going to do that. I think it is important. I think it's an important trail to keep in.
Yes. Right. And there's fencing on both sides.
Right.
That also protects. Well, it makes it harder for, the birds aren't going to fly away at that point. I don't see it as being a big problem.
Right.
I haven't heard anyone until I read that comment say anything about that before.
Yeah.
That was interesting. I had never heard that. All of my times walking through Negri have ever heard that from anybody.
So we're not talking about the trail that's now on the other side of the bird blind, like opposite. We're
Right.
talking about the trail that exists next to the bird blind?
Correct.
Well, we're talking about a loop, it looks like here. Look here. So let me go to the,
Because it says a loop
'Cause
trail
I thought
around
the
the bird blind. It's not, I mean, there is no loop trail. The wording is confusing because people in the blind do not want people walking behind them or near the pond, disturbing the birds they're trying to observe.
yeah, I think basically the commenter is saying they just don't think that this trail should be proposed because it would be disturbing to the birds and the people.
Okay, because there is, I mean, I hear what Vanessa's talking about. She's talking about the trail on the opposite side of the pond that you see when you're sitting in the blind.
Right.
And that wasn't originally on the trail map, but it had been used.
Yes, it's
So
been
I believe
used.
we added it because it had been
Yes.
used so much.
Right.
It's used very often, very often.
Yeah, it's mowed and
Yes.
it's become a part of it. And it is a nice way of seeing any birds that are on that other
Yes.
side.
Okay.
And people walking around scaring birds. I mean, everyone who's birding has gone through that. You know, it's
Yeah.
part of the game.
Okay.
So we'll keep it. We'll keep it. That's okay with everybody?
Yep.
Does anyone have anything else to say about that? I mean, I'm curious to hear what other people say.
I think this one's a pretty simple one. I think it makes sense to keep it, you know? I think we keep it.
I agree.
I agree. I mean, there's no way if you're talking about the one behind the lake, that's fine because it's already there and some people have used it. But if it's behind the place where people come to watch it, that's the way that you would approach that place anyway. So if people are there, I don't think it's going to cause that much of a disturbance, and definitely not to the birds. In fact, the other trail, which is near the lake, will be the ones that disturbs the birds.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna keep that one. That works for everybody?
Sounds good.
Uh-oh, what did I just type here? Hang on one second. I want to make sure I didn't type on anything. Okay. The next one, I'm just getting to it, is at Elizabeth. Which one did they say it is? Okay, it is Elizabeth Bike Path to Willow Road. Okay. Elizabeth Bike Path to Willow Road. Oh, that's just a table of contents. Okay, Elizabeth Bike Path. What's that? Weston Road, Willow Road.
Willow
Oh my
Road.
gosh, that's just the map. Okay. Hold on. We'll get there. Elizabeth. Okay.
Robert, do
Weston?
you have any experience on that one?
I think so. I'm actually trying to make sure that I'm in the right Elizabeth to Willow.
Elizabeth to Willow. Let me see what the
Willow.
commenter said first so we can get oriented. There is an intended absence of a bridge between the two parts of Willow Road because the residents of Quailbrook did not want this. So I think basically the commenter is saying, take a quick look at this because apparently this, I guess, was something that was looked at in the past and the residents were not of Quailbrook did not like this. What we're proposing is a construction of a bike path that extends the proposed bike path from Elizabeth Ave to the township owned Willow Road property. The user would proceed from Elizabeth Ave moving east on Weston Road where they would turn left on Cedar Grove Lane. From this point, the user would make a right on Treptow Road and proceed through the intersection we just talked about, and then they could get over to Willow Road. So this was like remember when we were developing this
Same.
bike connector, we talked about it in segments. So this is where we just were, Treptow and Martino.
Yeah, I was gonna say
The
it's the same
pink is
thing.
one part. Yeah, the yellow is another part we were looking at. So all of it together makes this, and you get over here to Willow Road.
Right. And where is he saying that there's no bridge?
He's saying that on the two sides of Willow Road, let me just read it. There is an intended absence of a bridge between the two parts of Willow Road.
Yeah, but that's only for automobiles. It's
Yeah.
there is no, it's not a bridge. It's just that there is a barrier that doesn't let cars through. If we're talking about the same thing, there's
That's
a
what I'm
gap
wondering too,
that allows
Robert.
bicyclists and pedestrians through.
Right. Between the
It's-
two, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Willow Road has I guess a northern and a southern part. That's how I should be thinking about it. And basically at that Treptow, right? That intersection we've been talking about, you turn left. It's actually it's called Wilson, on the I guess south side of Treptow, and then it's called Willow on the north side of Treptow. And if you keep going, you get to a point where it's closed. You can't continue to go by car.
Right.
But you can certainly go by foot. I mean, there's no problem there. You don't need a bridge.
Right. I'm just trying to see exactly where is the unintended part. So Cedar Grove, here's Weston, where's the
It's
township
near New
property?
Brunswick Road. It's like north of New Brunswick. It's like, where New Brunswick and Willow meet, just past there.
Amwell. Wait, did I go too far? I went too far.
I think you were near it before.
Yeah. There's Weston
When-
Road. Here's Cedar Grove Lane. I just
Yeah.
wanna
Well,
Yeah,
that's like by
it's
Treptow.
to the east, I think, to the right, whatever you want to do.
Treptow and okay,
Right,
here's this
and so there's-
intersection.
No,
Right.
after Western, there's a New
Oh,
Brunswick
here's the
Road,
township
Treptow, and then
property.
New Brunswick.
Yeah,
This is the
Willow,
township property.
there is a
if you-
point.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Where you're where you need to be, Tara. That's it.
Okay.
Like that skinny part,
Yeah.
you just said it's township property.
Yeah.
Like that's where, so if I'm on New Brunswick Road and I make a left onto Willow, I hit a dead end for cars, but not for pedestrians and bikes.
Got it. So yeah, so that really shouldn't be a problem then in what we're talking
It's
about.
not. That particular stretch of Willow is wonderful. It's wide. Somebody keeps paving it unnecessarily. It's like, super highway wide, but no cars can traverse it, right? So it's great. It's a nice little thing, right? Because the cars, they hit a dead end, right? But there's a gap.
Okay, so we want to keep this one in too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Exactly.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I think we should keep it in. I think what they're referring
Intended
to
absence,
is
not
that,
unintended absence. Sorry.
All right. Thank you.
I think what they're saying is that the Quailbrook residents were opposed to might have been the park
They were
within that open
yes.
space. So it's not opposing connections to a bike path, but it's to that type
I
of
think,
development.
yeah, I think you're right, Chris. I think that's exactly what they probably mean. All right, so we're gonna keep.
The residents of Quailbrook might be, opposed to it being a path.
Right. All right, the next one, County Route 518 and Canal Road. Some areas
Hey,
are very, I'm sorry.
Just 1 second, just a minor point. It just says on maps, it says Willow Avenue rather than Willow Road.
Willow Avenue. Oh, on the map, in the plan?
Yep. Well, no. You have on, I'm not sure what it says in the plan, but in the chart here, it says Willow Road.
Is
And
that right?
I
Because
went on Google Maps, it says Willow
Willow
Ave,
Road.
and then the map you just showed had Willow Ave.
Oh, okay.
So it might be
Thank you.
confusing Willow Road versus Willow Ave.
Tara, this says Elizabeth Avenue bike path to Willow Avenue. Okay. I was just thinking like if there is the same road on the other side because Elizabeth is other side and this Willow Road is by the New Brunswick Road.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it ultimately
They're
connects.
Nothing
That's
the
what
same, right?
confused me.
Because sometimes it's the same road with the, like a New Brunswick road is there and there is a New Brunswick Avenue also. So I just want to make sure that we are on this.
Got it. I'll make sure. I'll check before we do the final. I'll give that a quick review.
Yeah, I believe there's not a Willow Road in Somerset.
Yeah, it says Willow
Yeah.
Ave on here too. So yeah, it's gotta be Ave. Okay, I'll make sure. Let me write a note of that. Just to be on the safe side.
Actually, if you continue, I'm sorry, if you look at the bottom part of it, it says Willow Road on that map.
Huh,
Yeah, look, take a look at one more time on that map that you had.
okay.
Yeah, it
That might be
shows,
Wilson.
it's
The other side?
let's see, maybe that one. What does it say? Is it Wilson or
Oh,
Willow?
Wilson.
Wilson, okay, then good.
Okay, so I'll make sure that that's correct.
So
I'll
so
double check
Willow,
it.
Wilson Road turns into Willow Ave.
That's correct.
Okay. So the next one, like I said, County Route 518 and Canal Road. Some areas are very steep and would be difficult to navigate due to exposed rock. So, okay,
Do we have to address the one before that? It says,
only the ones that are highlighted are the ones that we have that
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
No,
I
that's
got it.
okay.
It's done. I got it. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, you're good. County Route 518 and Canal Road. It's probably this map. Every time I click on it, I always choose the wrong one for some reason. Okay. Here we go. County Route 518 and Canal Road. We are proposing plan and construct a recreational and educational trail on existing county and township open space. These trails would connect the county parking lot to the former Cully property with the existing trails on the north side of County Route 518. So this was a concept basically, and the commenter is saying that in this area, there's steep topography and areas of exposed rock that may make it difficult. What does everybody think about that?
I don't know enough about it.
It's County Road 518 and
Canal.
And Canal. I just wanted to make sure I'm.
Or do you remember? Was that something that? Where did that proposal come from? Do you remember? Was that in the previous plan, or was that something Chuck had brought up?
This is something Chuck brought up, but it's because of the county-owned open space that we were able to get. So that area is just wooded with nothing going on, and it would be a good connector. So it was kind of thinking ahead.
Yeah, I see this as the same as the other comments. I'm like, well, yeah, there might be obstacles to it, and yeah, the terrain might be difficult to navigate for a certain segment, of the population, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't be in our plan that there ought to be a trail here if we can make it happen.
Right. I think so too.
In that vein, I think it stays part of our plan, and we acknowledge that. Yep, you're not wrong.
Right.
There's definitely some terrain that might make this difficult.
Right.
Still should be in the plan.
Yep.
I don't know how to say that nicely.
No, I agree with you.
I think these comments are great and are helpful when we get to that next step of actually looking more closely at each one. I know we're not at that point right now. These are, like you said, these are concepts. So I think, keep it as a concept, but we'll be mindful of it when we get to it, to consider it more carefully.
For sure. I agree. Okay.
I knew you'd be able to say it much nicer than I did. But I meant the same thing.
I get what you're saying. No, I mean, and that's the thing. It's good to get these comments because it makes you just do a quick double check, which is great. Okay. I'll make it look nice later. Okay. Response, keep. Okay. Let's see here. The next one is related to Flemmer Preserve. The map shows almost entirely land in South Brunswick. A more appropriate map would show lands north of Route 27. There's already an existing trail along the east side of the canal that leads to County Route 518. Not much else can be asked for. This was a rails to trails conversion. Okay, so let's see now what's up here. Okay. Oh yeah, did I go too far? Nope, I didn't. Okay. Sorry, going through here is okay. Is this the map that we have, or what is going on here? A map of the John. Okay, that's the map. More information. I'm just trying to see, what did we propose? It must be this, Flemmer Preserve Kingston Loop. Oh, okay. So the commenter is basically saying this, what is this? Is this, nope, that's the JFK. The commenter is basically saying this map is showing mostly lands in South Brunswick. But this is not our map. This is because it's a state, this is like the state's map, so.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, most of it is, I think, in South Brunswick anyway, right? There's a small part of it that's in Kingston, but not the entirety.
Right.
And what does the commenter want us to do to remedy?
I don't, basically it just says a more appropriate, a map, I guess a different map would be more appropriate, but we would have to make the map because it's a state, it's the state's map.
Yeah.
And basically says there's already an existing trail, not much else can be asked for. This was a rails to trails conversion. So I think this is one of the instances where we're showing land that is in Franklin Township, but not owned by Franklin Township, but it of course links to our properties and is part of our open space and trail network. But I mean, we're not going to recreate the map.
Right.
That's already done by the state of New Jersey.
Tara, what's the we're proposing to expand what's currently the Flemmer Preserve.
No, we were not.
the
This is the part of our plan where we're basically showing all the maps of properties in Franklin Township. It's just like the compendium of maps.
Okay. So I see.
Yeah, it's the compendium of maps at the end. So there's really not much we can do about that because it's not our map and it's not our property.
Yeah.
So
But the Flemmer Preserve is.
a portion of the Flemmer Preserve, yes, is in Franklin. It's a very small loop though, but it's part of the larger area. So they have the map. So the state of New Jersey made the map. That's the one we go on.
Okay, because I was wondering if we should like map it ourselves but you're saying our section is the small part. It wouldn't make sense to do that.
Right. I mean, not at this point, not to hold it up for another month or two. I
No.
don't
mean to hold it up. I just mean moving forward.
Yeah.
Tara,
All
can you
right.
point
Can
out
you
what
answer the comment by
518
saying this is the best available map for the purpose?
Yeah, that's basically what the truth is, so okay.
Yeah,
This
Tara, with
is-
the map, can you point out where 518 is? Because I'm trying to see what they're trying to, what part is South Brunswick, what part is Franklin, even though you said it's a small part.
Okay, hang on one
With
second.
the
Let me
state
get
map, with the state map.
okay. Let's see here. I have to get close to the screen because I do not have my glasses. But Kingston is the blue. Kingston is the blue 4 point. See, it says it's a 4.5 mile trail. It's not though. In Flemmer, in Franklin, it's not. I think it's like a mile.
Of the entire trail is in Franklin, right? Is that what you're saying? It's a 4.5 mile trail, but it's only a mile is in Franklin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, where's Old Georgetown Road? Hang on here. Let me see. I agree. This map is not like the best map ever. Absolutely not. But it's the map that is there,
Yeah.
Where would Old George? Oh, so here's Route 1. Okay. What is that over there? 27 is right here. Okay, this is Route 27.
So Georgetown is, I think, Route 518.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
not. I don't think it's shown
27.
on this map, but what does that say? 6. You know what? Let me do this.
Yeah, there's a canal there too. Kingston, okay.
Yeah,
27.
like-
Oh, these have
Yeah, there
work.
is.
Yeah. But it's hard to see what's what.
It's blurry.
I agree. It's not the
There's
greatest map, but it's not ours. See,
Could we just
municipal-
update the map, which just shows our part of the whole trail, and put it in there?
Well, so we could do that. The only problem is, and it's not a problem if you really want to do it, but in order to do that, we have to go out there and do the GPSing of it, and then we have to get AT to map it, to make the map.
Okay.
So
and
at
that's
this
in
point,
delay,
yeah,
Can we just add a note, like to see, to just to note that this, you know, to look elsewhere for the Franklin Township section, or, because I think it's something that we could add, we could add to our map collection, on our website, and update things there, or just note that we recognize that this map is not ideal and intend to update it for the next PTP.
yeah, we definitely could. See, and it says, so 7.4 acre preserve adjacent to the DNR canal, ending at Route 518. Parking at Trailhead, okay. See, we have photos there, but no map. So we don't have a map for this. It looks like there has not been a map.
So I think it's just like for ourselves, not for the PTP, but for ourselves,
Yeah,
we
that's
can
right.
Yeah,
add it.
okay. All right, that's easy enough. Let me just write that in the future, make a map. I mean, we can do it of the townships portion. We can definitely do
revision.
this.
Yeah, the
Yes.
next revision.
Well, even if someone wants to go out there or is out there and wants to use that GPS app to map it, we could always make a map that's not in our PTP and then add that map to the next PTP. So we can do it in advance if we want,
Okay.
All right. Next one, South Middlebush Road connection. What is this? South Middlebush Road does not connect to Franklin Boulevard. It connects to Cedar Grove Lane along Amwell Road. So my response, page 30, fourth and fifth bullet, I think this should be to Hamilton Avenue. Check that this is the intention. All right, let me check what that is. Okay, sorry. Bear with me here for a minute. Okay. South. Middle, and my computer's like going slow. Bush. Okay. Oh, here we go. Franklin Boulevard. Is this what he's talking about? It must be. All right, let's see. Okay. South Middlebush Road extension, Franklin Boulevard, linking to the Landing Lane Bridge in New Brunswick. This bicycle lane runs along Franklin Boulevard to Hamilton. Okay, so I changed this here. I think it's to Hamilton Street, not South Middlebush Road.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
correct.
South
That's
Middlebush
right.
Road is
Yeah.
nowhere
Yeah.
near there.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah,
so that's just a
right
typo.
across. Yeah.
That is a typo. So it should be called, and what about the South Middlebush Road extension? That's okay, I think. Let me just double check. South Middlebush, the bike lane connects to the shared use trail along Cedar Grove Lane. That is correct. Right? Yeah.
So the South Middlebush Road,
Yes,
so
connects
South
to
Middlebush
Amwell.
hits
Yes.
Amwell,
That's correct.
Yeah, that's
but
Amwell.
It goes
Cedar
to
Grove.
Amwell and eventually goes to Cedar Grove Lane.
Right. So I think
Yeah.
the correct one should
Go
be
ahead.
say Amwell and then Cedar Grove. I think it should
Amwell
add
and then
Amwell.
Cedar.
Yeah.
So it should be, the bike lane connects to Amwell Road
Mhm.
and then to the shared use trail
Okay.
along
Yeah.
Cedar Grove Lane.
Right.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, so that's taken care of. Good. Okay. So let me just put this here. We're almost done. We're getting to I see the finish line, I think. Okay. Done.
Or at least the end of
Fixed.
that page.
Yeah. Overall comment, review the proposals to ensure we are not promising so much more than what the proposed trail can achieve. That's just a comment for everyone to keep in the back of their minds, I guess. Make sure we're not over promising. I don't think we are, because we spent a lot of time going through and looking at what could actually work. And I think the commenter in particular is like, this would be so hard. You would need permitting. You would need with that. And we know that, though. That's the thing. We know that they're concepts. Each project is a concept, understanding that there may be slight modifications that have to be made to make it happen. There may be permitting. There may be public hearings that have to happen. And I think we know that. But this is what, like, in an ideal world, this connection would look like. And it's an idea, you know?
Yep.
Okay. Let's scroll. We got DeMont Lane path. Is it possible to extend this beyond Hamilton Amwell? So I already started writing this answer, but I just wanted to make sure it was okay before. Would be difficult due to the existing development and intersection at South Middlebush Road and Amwell Road. We could suggest safety measures to ultimately get people to South Middlebush Road, but I'm not sure there is a safe option. So this commenter is talking about the DeMont Lane walking path, and you know how it basically starts and ends at Amwell and DeMont. They want to know, can it go beyond, like, towards South Middlebush Road? My immediate thought is, I don't think we can make that connection there because of the type of intersection it is, but that might be something we can do with signage or flashing lights or something like that, you know, not necessarily a trail improvement, but signage or an alert kind of system. What do you guys think about that? Is that worth putting in there? That we can do those things. I've done.
Well, we have the proposed path going down South Middlebush, correct?
Yes.
I mean, and if we have definitely it makes sense to at some point along the route have it connect, whether it needs to be rerouted to avoid the intersection, or you know what I mean? Like, I'm wondering, I think we should try to find a safe route to connect those two roads.
Right. And where it is right now, I mean, that's going to be right now. I mean, yeah, there's got to be a connection, but it would be like kind of rerouting it away, because crossing there could be, scary. Right?
Yeah, I don't know where it would be safest to cross. I don't know if it's like, is it safer to cross like over by that Middlebush school building, or no, because there's not a light there.
Yeah,
no,
there's no light.
not.
I think the only one is that stage house, that crossing there.
Right.
Maybe, change the light timings to allow people to cross over from there, because there are traffic lights. So just to make it more pedestrian friendly.
The one good thing here, so this up here where my this little hand is, this is the stage house property. There is, the crosswalk here. It's existing. Maybe putting in, like I said, like the flashing lights or the auditory alert system. And then you also have this pedestrian island right here, basically. So the person gets across here, then they can stop, wait, and then again cross. So that's one way. But there's really not like a trail per se we can put in, but we could definitely recommend, the safety improvements.
Tara, what part were you concerned about? The intersection at DeMont or that intersection by Stagehouse?
I am concerned about really both of them at this point, but so here's the DeMont Lane walking path. You're coming down here, which is great. And then so there's this crosswalk here, which is, to me, this is the most dangerous part here, crossing DeMont. And then how do you get over here? Right? Because you cross here and then you're kind of like floating over here for a while. To me, this is like just so much traffic here all the time, and just a lot going on.
Is that township property right there?
This is the township property. So you could walk along here and get to the existing. This is a sidewalk, I think, already.
Oh,
is that yeah, that's a sidewalk.
That's a sidewalk, yeah.
So you could just follow the sidewalk. That's what I'm saying. The path kind of exists if you just stay on the sidewalk and go to the crosswalk, and then just improve this here. And this here is a really important device where it's for pedestrian safety. So if we can maybe we just put a sign that says like continue path to South Middlebush Road, whatever. along here. Then when you get here, we have, you know, the button you can push, the flashing lights, the signage of people walking. Maybe we extend the amount of time that the walking signal is there for.
Mhm. Yep.
I think that's that's the option really, you
Okay.
know?
I like that.
Okay. And I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
And we can add that in. Okay. So
It's well thought out, Tara.
yeah, I think that makes sense. And it's, yeah,
Mhm.
because can be scary over there. All right. Middlebush Park Memorial Forest. Is it possible to build a path along Amwell between DeMott and Cedar Grove that would connect Memorial Forest on Cedar Grove Lane, essentially a trail from Middlebush Park to Memorial Forest via Amwell Cedar Grove
Wow.
Lane? Let's see what this is, what this link goes to. Oh, I don't even know. Okay. Let me go to the regular map. So we're talking about, I have to read it again. I can't even remember now. It was,
From Cedar Grove to Memorial Forest and via Amwell.
Amwell between DeMott and Cedar Grove. Okay.
The
So-
rail, isn't that rail right away around there somewhere?
Yes, I think it
That we
is.
ended up not being able to use.
Yeah, I think you're right. So we're looking at DeMott.
Is it possible to a path alongside Amwell between DeMott and Cedar Grove that would connect Memorial Forest on Cedar Grove Lane? Essentially a trail from Middlebush Park to Memorial Forest via Amwell Cedar Grove.
I'm trying to get to this exact spot. I mean, this is like a large area to consider.
I don't think it can be done down at Amwell
Yeah.
because that's all.
So here's Cedar
Private.
Grove. Yeah. All right. So we got Cedar Grove is here. DeMott is here. So we're talking about between here and here. Right? Yes.
Yeah. Where's Memorial Forest?
And Memorial Forest is it's right around, isn't it at New Brunswick and Cedar Grove, right?
I didn't think it was that far down, is it?
No, it's Amwell and Cedar Grove.
Amwell and Cedar Grove. Amwell and Cedar Grove. Where's Amwell? I gotta start wearing my glasses. I just really don't want to. I'm trying my most.
Here
I
is
know.
Amwell.
I see. Amwell is another one of our roads that has no sidewalks, right?
Yes, here's
So it's like
Amwell,
a-
514.
Yeah, I'm watching it. We have sidewalks up until Stagehouse, and then it
Nothing.
becomes death trap for any other mode of transportation except car.
So
So
this
yeah,
is,
I mean,
yeah.
certainly could see the the need for it, but
But is there a bike path going there or on Cedar Grove Lane there?
On Cedar Grove there, is there a bike? I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's
path
another intersection that's, you know, a little dangerous.
Yeah, there's a bike path eventually on Amwell, but not there.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be difficult. I mean, that might be for the next iteration of the PTP because that's really talking to, if we get some of these connections in place, then that may become more of an option. But right now it's like, I think it's a little too, you know, big of an area with a lot of missing connections to actually make it work.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, you could cut across those neighborhoods, right? I guess, behind the municipal building, Wade Ave, it hits Wilson, and then Wilson isn't that far. I mean, it's less of a trek
Yeah.
on Amwell.
So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there are definitely, right, either Wade or Smith Road on the other side to the
Yeah.
south side, right? That's parallel
some
to
back
Amwell.
roads.
Those are
Less
those are
traffic.
safer ways to go, right? So if we've been talking about this, the intersection of Middlebush, you can follow South Middlebush that goes down to Railroad Avenue, which connects to Smith, which then can take you down to Amwell Road.
Yeah.
Right. So
Just to jump back to what Vanessa said, the bike path on Cedar Grove Lane starts at the intersection of Como Drive. That's at least where the signage starts. So it does
Yeah.
head towards that direction, but it's not quite where we're
Yeah.
going.
Maybe it's something we think about. I think it's a good suggestion. Maybe that's what we say is this is a great suggestion, but we need to get some of the other work done in order to really make this possible. So we'll look at it again in the next PTP. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Well,
Actually, that corner of Amwell and sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
All I was going to say is, for the record, that there's construction, right? That whole Cedar Grove, Amwell, area behind the Shell station. They're building 1 million houses back there now.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that development would end, but I know that it's open space, behind it, and then you get to the Hoydunemet farm, the Miklos Tree Service people, and I believe that there's open space there. So there's that might be where you can make a connector somewhere where wherever they're building now would end. Anyway, I'm talking out loud.
No, I get it. That makes sense.
No, but that's
I'm looking at the map too, and I agree there are alternatives. Sorry, Councilman, go ahead.
If I could just add a little bit of stuff, because I do a lot of walking around Middlebush, and there's a corner which kind of almost connects to Wilson Road from Middlebush Park. So there is actually a walking trail right between these private homes. So it's a small private, probably a path, which I used to take and walk all the way to Wilson from behind Middlebush. If you can see that, so it's almost parallel to Martino Drive and all along to Wilson.
Okay, hold on. Let me just zoom. Why did it choose that? That's not what I want. Okay, let me back up to get everything in there. This is Middlebush Park.
Yep.
It's gonna zoom in automatically, so just give it a second here. Okay.
You mean the trail that's by the baseball diamond, right? That goes out in
yeah, that's right. So that small triangle, right? On that top corner. Yeah. So that actually extends and keeps. Yeah, you can hit Wilson from there.
Yep.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then we get
there is almost like the trail is there. I think there's mulch on it, so someone definitely maintains it, because I've been there through these past 5 years.
Yeah.
So,
I use that trail. That's one of the Middlebush. That's one of the Middlebush Park trails, right? So I walk that and inspect it.
Yeah.
And you're right. It goes to Wilson, which of course then takes us to that the Martino Drive Treptow Road intersection that we've been talking about.
Right. I think that's the thing.
That's a great little trail.
If we get some of those other things in place to actually have the safety options and the connections in place, then we can look at that one, I think, for the next time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, perfect. What's here? Inman Park. The trail at Inman needs to be improved. This should be mentioned in the plan. So in our plan, we have for Inman, let's see here. Conversion of existing trail marking system with paint blazes, interpretive signage regarding presence and types of wetlands is recommended for educational purposes. So this commenter is saying, we really should look into improving, I think, the surface of the trail itself.
At Inman?
That's how I read it. Maybe I'm wrong, but the trail at Inman needs to be improved. This should be mentioned in the plan. So it's like maybe not improved with pavement, but I think the commenter is saying like maybe it needs to be graded properly, or maybe they were thinking about a specific type of surface.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
Me
if you're talking
neither.
about the southern part, where the baseball field is, the kiosk is in bad shape. It's pretty far away from the trail. And the trail, it's a lot overgrown, and it just looks like a gully, and it drops down really quick. So, and it's all shale rock there. So maybe that's what they're talking about. Yeah, the trailhead is kind of hidden just based on the overgrowth right next to each side of that little gully.
And Jim,
it's more of a gully than a trail, if that's what I'm trying to summarize.
Okay.
that makes sense. But I also think that to me, the confusing part about Inman is understanding how, almost half of it is in the parking lot. Like to label that maybe, to make that easier to follow. So if you're doing it as a loop. maybe that's something that we're thinking about too.
We could add that into the trail, we could add that into this portion of Inman pretty easily and just say, we're looking to, fix this gully with, it would be natural materials, but it would be like the grading or whatever, move the kiosk to the right place, get the trailhead markings out so that people can actually see it. Does that make sense? Or
Yep.
Yeah.
I lost what I wrote somehow, so give me a sec here. There we go. I don't want this here. I want it here. Okay, we can add that in, I think, no problem. Okay. The next one is, and Jim kind of touched on this at the beginning of the meeting, but the comment is just, this trail feels less safe than other trails. Can we address ways to mitigate this in the plan? I also agree. I don't really understand that.
Yeah.
Maybe anyone else does feel, I don't, I've been there. I've never felt unsafe. I don't know what the I don't know what the basis of the comment is.
Unless if they figure people go off the trail, because then there is a big drop off,
Yeah.
Near the houses. I guess that's McAfee. If
Oh,
you're on
right.
the trail, you have no problem. But if you stray off it, if you purposely go off the trail, it's cliffs,
Right, but that could
That's
be
true.
any trail.
Yeah, you got that in a lot of
True.
places in town.
Yeah.
So not really sure what they mean by less safe. Physically or, surrounding your people or what?
Right.
I'm not sure. That was the only comment, and honestly, I kind of thought, I don't really know. That's kind of a subjective, so I don't know that needs to even really be addressed.
Yeah, that's a very
True,
subjective
agreed.
comment.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Oh, we only have two more left. Okay. Dunn and Gunther. So this is an interesting one. So the proposed trail cuts across leased farmland. This trail cannot be constructed while the farm is being leased. This comment, I just want to be like out in the open, is from the farmer who leases this property. So it's just something I just want to be transparent there. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. Let me go to the plan. So yeah, so basically we're proposing a future trail, and we had spent, the one thing I did remember, it was when Mark was on here, we had spent a lot of time kind of trying to figure out where the best place for this trail would be to connect. And I think that the thought is, well, is that going to cause a problem for the leased farmland? And basically the answer is it's kind of the same thing with Memorial Forest. If the lease ends and the township decides not to renew that lease because, we want to use it for trails or open space, that's completely under the township's purview, and they can absolutely do that. It is correct that if this property is currently under lease, just because we want a trail, we can't go in there and just do it. We have to wait till the lease is over, or we come to some type of agreement with the farmer to break the lease. But, so just to kind of put that out there, this is what the, I'm sorry, this computer, I think I have so many things open that it's starting to go a little weird. Okay. This is what we proposed in the plan. It does cut across the farm field, but again, this is a concept. And the reason why we were thinking of doing that is that there's a bike path beginning on the township owned open space that would connect to Van Cleef Road path to the existing red trail on the state owned 6 Mile Run property. And we did say in here that this would require a trail crossing at 6 Mile Run parkland and permitting with the state of New Jersey. We do acknowledge that it would require a significant amount of funding, but I think the reason that we kept this in here, if I remember correctly, is we figured that would be a connection basically to 6 Mile Run from the Dunn and Gunther property by bike. So I think that's why and I remember we spent a lot of time figuring out what was the best way to do it because of development around there or the historic site that's there. So yes, we know it goes through a farm field, but it might not always be in farming. It's open space that we lease to a farmer. So what do you guys think about that?
I think we note that we'll be mindful of the lease and not consider it until that lease, was complete. Right, because that's what you're saying. Like, well, while it's leased farmland, we're not going to do that. But if the time comes where it's no longer leased farmland, we could certainly consider it.
Yeah.
Got it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Acknowledge that we will not interfere during the lease. And then I'll rephrase it so it sounds better. Okay, is this the last one? It is. Okay, last one, Memorial Forest. It's the same thing. This concept was proposed to OSAC, which was well received. The portion proposed for the tree planting is currently leased. That area cannot be developed until the lease is amended or expired. And we do understand that, and we can again acknowledge that same thing.
Mhm.
Okay, so that is the last of the comments. Thank you so much for your patience. What I will do is there's just a few comments for me to address. I will then make sure the table of contents and everything is correct and the cover page, and I'll go through and do the last minute, things, page numbers, fonts, and stuff like that. And then I will send it to Mark Healy and the planning board, and they will review it. And hopefully we can get it on for adoption to the master plan at one of the upcoming meetings.
That would be great.
Just one question. That's wonderful job you guys doing. Just one question I have is there any plan to walk through these trails just to confirm all these items and the suggestions?
So most of the trails, the township existing trails, we've walked them all until we know that those are in the right place and that they've been ground truthed. Some of the proposed items have been walked or biked. I would say most of them have. I don't know if there's any that have not. Probably the only one is that Dunn and Gunther trail. But we did look at aerials while we were doing the mapping and all that. So some areas we might not be able to do that on, but we could definitely, I think most of them, right, have been kind of looked at by like Rob said, he rides that path, and Pravesh says he knows the Middle Bush Park one.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
I also think that when we actually get to those items in the plan, that we will revisit these comments and go, and before we actually move forward with any plan, we would assess the current state of that property before actually making any moves.
Yep.
Right. Well, and then the other thing is any township owned property that we're making a change to, even putting a trail in, or like any kind of improvements, we would have to have public hearings for. So that would also give the opportunity for public comment.
Right.
Tara, I just want to thank you for your patience and your diligence with this plan. This has been a long, and I know you wanted it done a year ago.
Oh, that's okay.
We keep going back for revisions and suggestions and final edits. And I know that of all of us, you've poured yourself into it. So thank you for sticking with it and getting us to this near finish line.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, it's been good. And I think part of doing it, thank you. Part of doing it, a lot of good things came out of it too, like the paint blaze system and the mapping, redoing all the mapping. So that all came out of that. So a lot of work, even though it took time, it was because we were getting everything right, And the other thing is our existing pathways and trails plan, it wasn't based on GPS or GIS. It wasn't ground truth. It wasn't adopted by the planning board. Open Space Advisory Committee never saw it. So I think this is a really, I think they see how much work you've done as well. So
thanks.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. So I will get that going, and then hopefully it'll get to planning soon.
Fantastic.
Nice. All right. So back to our agenda. So we've gone through the Pathways and Trails Plan section. Now moving on to the micro mobility plan.
So, and Chris, just jump in whenever, or cut me, just if I start going, just feel free to cut me off because, I will keep going. But, where is Chris? Did I lose him?
No, I'm still here.
Oh, I don't see you.
Meeting guest, MG.
Oh, your meeting guest. That's why. Okay.
Cut off his camera. There we go.
So there you are. So, Chris and I and Paul Walitsky, the chair of the Environmental Commission, and our consultants from NV5. Someone else was there, right? Or am I missing someone? Chris, do you remember?
There was
Me?
2 consultants from NV5.
Right. So we met to discuss the micromobility study that we've been going over. They are basically, I would say, at the halfway point, probably more than the halfway point. They did say they think they'll get the final draft to us by the end of July. So that's good news. They basically brought some of their ideas and wanted to show us and see what we thought about actually connecting those ideas. So I'm going to put it up on the screen. Chris, did you have any, what was your thoughts on that meeting? And, what did you think?
I guess to break it down, what they really wanted to prioritize was identifying the best opportunities for on-street connections for bicycles and and other micromobility devices. So we're considering the main areas we wanted to connect were around Demont Lane and the municipal complex and the amenities there with the business district up in Hamilton. So that goes
Right.
east and west, and then to be able to reach Easton Avenue and connect that to Amwell Road. So if you could see the darker lines and the colors, those were the considerations for which streets they wanted to prioritize. And essentially we went through one by one and identified what the opportunities kind of were. And
I'm going to zoom in here first, Chris. Maybe we can talk about this one first.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, one of them is one of the routes I use to bike to work from my parents' neighborhood in off of New Brunswick Road. So it's not too far away from you, Rob, and a couple others here. So, but what's important about this connection is, yes, it does reach over to Hamilton, but that's also it would also benefit folks who can commute into New Brunswick and may choose alternative modes of transportation there. So the maps were a big part of it. They did explain some of the shared bike systems and scooter systems and would include some considerations for what may work and where those systems can benefit parts of the township. And I think one of the things worth discussing is, possibly working with VO, who operates scooters in New Brunswick and Rutgers, and possibly, having them introduced up until the Hamilton Business District, because you may have a lot of commuters that way. But it was a great discussion, and our folks from NV5 were very knowledgeable and were open to any questions. Sorry, Tara, I could go on too. So
No, they were good. I zoomed in on this section just so you can see. So one thing we looked at that we thought was a really good idea, because again, the purpose is really to try and move people from the eastern side of Franklin to the western side. And this is a limited study because we have, a limited amount of funding to do it. But this, I really, really like this one because I think it really achieves what we're trying to achieve as far as moving kids and the youth over. So if you look on the screen, this is Naaman Williams Park, and we have a loop trail here, and we know that we see people on bikes. This is a paved trail. There's a lot of people that live in this area. One of the ideas of the consultant was this road here is Chester, and then you also have Pershing, I think this one is called. Basically, though, the interesting thing is from Naaman Williams Park, you could basically take, if you lived in this neighborhood back here, even as far back by Route 27, if you could go through Naaman Williams, take the existing trail to Chester, you could directly get to the youth center, which is a really good destination between a park and a youth center for kids to use. Then if you continue down this way and you end up over here by, what's the name of this road? which road is this? What is, oh, Lewis, it's on Lewis, right? Is the youth center? Yeah.
Mhm.
And then you got, what's this one here? Oh, Norma. Okay. So then you could come over to Norma. This I really liked because they were basically saying one thing we could propose is that you could put a path around the woods that goes directly between Franklin Middle School and Hillcrest. So basically, if this was a micromobility and we were to have bike racks and bike storage, scooters, things like that, safety signals for safe crossings for the kids, you could really get movement from these two schools with a stop in the middle for the youth center over in Naaman Williams Park. And then there's, development on either side. So I really, really liked that idea a lot. So that was one. They also looked up here at potentially doing some micromobility in this area, but where Pine Grove Elementary School is by Consovoy Park and the Little League fields. And then there was another major study area over here. Let me just get up. Am I in the right? Yes, I'm in the right area, right, Chris? Right? Yes. So you got Connerly Road School here. They show where the existing sidewalks are. They propose this cut through to basically get from the Connerly Road Middle School and this area over here to eventually make your way over to DeMott Lane, which is where the walking path is. You can then connect to Middle Bush Park, and then you could also connect to Easton. They also noted where the East Coast Greenway was, which is right in this area. Potential, there's nothing there, but the East Coast Greenway has recognized it as a potential point. So that is good to keep in there. We talked about things. I forget,
Tara,
Chris,
where's that?
Where is the Greenway?
Because
The
you had
East
mentioned
Coast-
before that that was going to be on Winston, right?
Yes,
You
it's
see,
over by Winston. Go ahead, Chris. Where is it?
So if you see New Brunswick Road towards Schoolhouse Road, the road track looking paths. So if you follow that all the way from the left side of the screen, it does snake its way over to the right portion. So this is the on-road designation for the East Coast Greenway. It's not set in stone, but it's what the Greenway, East Coast Greenway organization recognizes as parallel to the actual Greenway on the towpath.
Right. I think a Post-it might be covering it right now. But it's probably right here under, I would assume, right? We also talked about, Chris, I have my notes, but do you remember what this stands for? RRFB? It was flashing beacon. Do you remember that?
Oh gosh, rectangular rapid flashing beacons.
Yeah. It's basically, they also included in their plan. So it's not just, connections and road improvements. I mean, they did talk about speed bumps and speed cushions and turnabouts, to basically slow traffic. They also talked about putting signals in, like these flashing beacons, and extending the time that people have to actually cross, signage. And then the other thing was important, which I thought was really smart. They talked about not only putting bike racks and repair stations in, but also having charging stations for the e-bikes and the e-scooters, having the bike share programs nearby, making sure we can connect those with the county routes for Scoot and Dash along Easton Ave. So they basically talked about a bunch of different devices and strategies to make this micromobility safe and accessible for everyone. So that's kind of where we left it off after the meeting. I thought it went really well. I was really impressed with the consultant. I think they did a lot of really good work. So I think now the next step is they're going to develop the map that you see on the screen that was drawn on, and then they're going to actually write out what their proposed improvements would be. And they're going to range, like I said, from major road improvements to, putting signals in. So it'll give us a good opportunity to really look and see what's available. The good news is the timing of this is perfect, because if it's completed by the end of the summer, there's a lot of money that's coming through the U.S. Department of Transportation through the bipartisan infrastructure bill, a lot of money coming through. And it does include things like e-mobility, electrification of vehicles, non-motorized transportation. So because we have this plan in place, we may be able to use that as a catapult to kind of like get something going. So I think it'll be really good.
Yeah, and one of the other interesting things was they mentioned the temporary demonstration library through the North Jersey
That was
Transportation
great.
Planning Authority. So this is a program I work with at work too, but essentially the Metropolitan Planning Organization has a library of materials that you could use to test out things like a bike lane or other safety feature at intersections to one, increase safety, or to slow drivers, or to manage traffic a little better. So but these materials are free to borrow from this organization, and it just takes a matter of a conversation, letting them know what exactly you have planned and how you plan to document the changes that are happening there. You can imagine, all over our state, I feel like people park up to the corners, and it's called daylighting. I'm sure, Robert, you've heard this before, but essentially when cars are parked all the way out to the corner, it impedes visibility for the people who are driving. So they won't be able to see people who are walking, people on bikes, people who are crossing there. So if you wanted to experiment and put out flexible posts or bike parking up until the corner so that cars can't physically park there, those are things that they may be able to, materials they may be able to let you experiment with, so that you can find out, how would it feel for people who are walking, or the community members in regard to, does it feel safer here? Or has this really improved things? So if you're thinking about a bike lane and you're not sure how the residents feel, you might want to try one out, get some feedback, and then move forward with it depending on how they respond.
Yeah, I did not know about that. And when I heard that, I just loved it, because it's like we can try it and it's free. And because we'll have the plan, we probably can really try a few things, which is great, because it's like when he said free, I was like, really free? And he said, yes, totally free. Because sometimes it's like it's not free, but it is. And I think, it's a good demonstration project. And even if it's something we don't use, it might just like also educate people that are using those roads, like, oh man, I really need to slow down here, So I think it's going to be a really, really good project. And thank you, Chris, for being there, because you have so much knowledge, and it's like helpful. It's really helpful. So
I'm glad I made it to the meeting.
yes,
And
absolutely.
Yeah, happy to support. But I mean, it sounds lofty, but in regard to the demonstration projects, but to be honest, they've done a ton to help shape what's happening in Hoboken and Jersey City. Hoboken hasn't had any fatal crashes in 7 years, because they were able to identify better opportunities for infrastructure and improvements for people biking. And understandably, their density of people using those active forms of transportation are different from our more suburban town. But we already understand what the proven methods are for making things more safe. It's just a matter of convincing the public that they are doable, they are feasible.
Right.
So I think that's a great tool to have access to.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited about it. I really am. I'm looking forward to seeing the final product. So when we get the final draft, I'll share it with everyone. You can all review it, comment. We'll definitely have another public meeting once it's in a good spot. Maybe it's something we might even want to present to the council, like instead of just giving it to them, maybe it's something we want to, go and present to the council and see what they think. Because then we can show we had an idea, we worked on it, it achieves multiple goals, So Alex, maybe we can work with you on that as we get closer. Oh, you're muted, Councilman, you're muted.
Absolutely, yeah, that would be great, actually.
Yeah, I think they would like to see it.
And Tara,
Absolutely.
once we see that plan, then I guess we'll have a discussion as a committee and determine, kind of where we would want to strategize and try to work on.
Yes, we can definitely look at it, see what we want to work on. It actually was referenced, micromobility was a big focus of our community energy plan. So there's also some crossover with the Environmental Commission. But yeah, I think we can look through, maybe the first step might be doing something with this demonstration library. Or maybe it's looking into see how much money can we maybe get from the DOT if we have something in place. So yeah, but maybe we start off small. I don't know. It's really going to depend on the timing, but we should go
Okay.
through and prioritize it for sure.
It just sounds like has a lot of potential. I want to make sure that
Yeah.
we don't drop the ball.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
And it will be good during the demonstration or presentation to the council to have a prioritized list and which one we wanted to work on and why it's more important than the others.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, that works. So I'll let you know how it goes.
We have about half an hour left.
Okay, we can run, the rest are super brief.
Okay, so we have about half an hour to, to go through the rest of the agenda. The next item we have is the Corporate Responsibility Volunteer Day at Negri. So Tara, I'm sorry, Anne Marie, did you want to talk about that for a second?
Well, Claire who we met at the event, National Trails Day, has really taken it and really worked hard with her L'Oreal partners. In their corporate day, she has 25 volunteers who are signed up. She has a list of all the equipment she needs and the equipment she's bringing. And we have DPW, thank you, Tara, who's going to assist us that day. And there's tents for the volunteers to have shelter when it gets real hot. They know exactly what they have to bring. They're really excited. We have several projects in mind that's going to happen. Cleaning out some of the area around the bird blind, cleaning out the area around the holly trees on the way down to the bird blind. All these things have been so overgrown and so neglected. It's really a very exciting project, and hopefully we'll have enough mulch to put around the hollies, which helps, keep the weeds at bay a little bit. I mean, it's just a great opportunity, and the fact that it's all come together in 2 weeks is truly remarkable because we've needed this for so long. So I'm really excited. And Chuck, our former member, for those who don't know, has really been very helpful in working with Claire and planning it out and providing pictures of invasive plants so everyone knows what to pull. And it's going to be great. It's a great opportunity. The one question I had left over from National Trails Day, there was that gentleman with his daughter. He wanted to volunteer, and I wanted to reach out to him and tell him what the effort was that day if he wanted to join the group. And you'd have to sign a waiver, obviously. Claire, I'm sure, would have extras. And does anyone know how to reach him?
I have the sign-in sheet, and I have his email. I can share that.
Okay, great. Because I'm just going to reach out. He said he was interested. That'd be great. And we have our other person who's listening to us. If you want to help us, I'm sorry, no, good with your name, Amarnath. Yep. Sorry, I butchered it. I know we met several times at both those different trails. And if you're interested or your family members are interested, it's on Friday the 14th.
Yep.
And I think it's 9 to 12:30, if I'm correct. And it's all happening at Negri. That's the big spot. That's where it's all happening. And there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. And if you want to join us, let us know. You have to sign a waiver, but we're good.
Okay, so how to get those information?
The waivers. If
I can email you one, if you want to if you can put your email address in the chat, I can email you a waiver, and then you can just bring it with you or email it back to me, and then just show up that day.
Okay. So all the information is there, where to show up and all those things?
It's at Negri Napodi Grasslands Preserve. Do you know where that is?
No, first.
So it's 260 Skillman's Lane, and it's going to be 9 o'clock to 12:30. And basically you just want to dress, like you're going to be in the woods. So, pants, Make sure you wear sunblock, insect repellent, yeah, long sleeves, bring water, and then people will direct you on the site, you know, what to work on.
Okay.
I was thinking also that we didn't include safety glasses. I was thinking that might be a good thing to people to wear because the weeds are so high that you're pulling things up towards your face and you might want to have some eye protection.
And also
Okay.
gloves. People can bring gloves also. It would be easy to pull the weeds.
Right. I think we did say gloves, and Claire
Yeah,
was going to bring
definitely.
some gloves, and DPW is going to bring some gloves, they said. So,
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Great. I'm excited. It was such a great opportunity. The conversation, coming up in National Trails Day and everyone pulling together to capitalize on this volunteer opportunity with L'Oreal is really nice. So thanks to everyone who helped. The next item is our Firefly Walk, which we have scheduled for Saturday, July 13th, 7:30 p.m. And that's going to be at the John Clyde Grasslands in Griggstown. So it's a great event. If you haven't been there before, it's just nice. You get to see the light show. It's the fireflies do a nice little light show out on our grasslands.
you said 7:30, Vanessa, right?
7:30. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get. I mean, look at it now. It's 8:30 and it's not dark.
Yeah, that's
So-
a tough time to kind of fill that spot. Do you think Astronomy Club would be interested in joining us that night?
So the Astronomy Club actually reached out separately, and they are looking to do observations every Friday night at Griggstown now through August. So they might not be able to do it every Friday night, but they basically asked for the ability to do so. So they were just given that approval. So I don't know if they would do it Saturday. I could ask, but they're definitely going to do Friday, I believe.
Because that would be great. I mean,
I emailed him.
I mean,
Okay.
that's great. If they want to come and join us, because that was a great draw also. And that gave some people, a little extra for that coming out that night. And like Vanessa said, we get a good turnout.
Okay, we need a flyer, right? And to send it to Rec.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And if there's
I'll work on the flyer.
I know I think you mentioned before, Tara, that is it possible to get it in Spanish as well?
I think it is. I have to, yeah, I'm sure we can. I just have to find out who the person is that can translate it. I'm sure I can find out.
And if it can't be, if you could just share it with me in a format that's editable, I can work on that on my end too.
Okay.
Sorry, what date was you were mentioning the event?
July 13th.
Saturday, July 13th.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I might not be. I'm out of country.
Oh, that's what next year. We've been having it every year, which is nice.
Okay, I will try. I'm coming back on 12th, but I have to make sure. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
So I notice for fireflies, the peak viewing time is like a June end to July 1st week. Most of the fireflies hike are in June end, June 29 or 30th. Not much in a July.
Is that changed, Jignasia? Because it's typically the first or second week of July. Did that change for this year?
Yeah, I see it. It is mostly a Watershed Institute, Duke Farm. They all have it on June 29th. I just want to make sure that we are not late. We won't be late,
It's pretty disappointing for a firefly night and there's no firefly.
Yeah, no, we want to do it now. Since we are doing it, we want to make sure we do it on a time, the peak time for the fireflies to be out with the high population, See, Terran Orchard, Duke Farm, Watershed Institute. Duke Farm has a July 7th, but others they have on June 29th.
I don't know enough about fireflies.
Yeah, I was talking to Chuck about it at the trails, and normally it's between the first and the second week of July. And you had said, Jignasha, to stay away from the 4th of July
Right,
weekend,
I
and
remember
that's
that.
why we went with
Not gonna do
the
it again.
I remember that just because of the July 4th July long weekend.
yeah, but I mean,
Hopefully it won't be too late, July 13. People would be able to see the fireflies.
And if we have the astronomy the same night, hey, kind of works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, so Tara, are you saying that they're doing it on that on July 12th, on the Friday, July 12th?
They've asked for the ability to do every Friday night. Now they said they don't know if they are going to get there every Friday night. But we basically said, yes, you can use Friday night, the John Clyde Memorial Native Grasslands Preserve. The only restriction is basically that they had to limit it, I believe, to 20 cars. And also if it's lightning, they cannot be there. So
Right. No, I just
potentially,
wondered-
yes, they may be there July 12th. But I can ask him if they might be interested in coming both days because they do a lot of events.
Okay. So Jignasha, what do you think? I feel like
That's
I'm
fine.
not available, that last week in June. I could possibly do, the July, the July, 6th. But so I guess it's a matter of do we want to avoid the 4th of July window and, maybe have less of a late show with the fireflies?
I've been researching this question of when do fireflies come out of the ground online, and my vast experience gained in the last 45 seconds seems to suggest that the show starts in late June, but it stretches all through July and into August, and fireflies like the muggiest and the hottest of weather. So the more unbearable the evening is, the more fireflies you are likely to see. That's what I've learned in the last 45 seconds of Firefly Graduate School online.
So when we have a muggiest and warmest weather, maybe July.
Yeah, July into the beginning of August, but late August already, when it starts to get cool, like at night, then that's when they start to fade. But July should be fine. I'm like I said, this is my vast knowledge from 45 seconds of doing internet research, but I get the impression that mid-July is not a problem for seeing fireflies. It's not like they're in June and gone by July.
What was the date? I mean, what was the month last year we keep the firefly? Was it in a June or a July last
So
year?
it's always July. We always do it beginning to mid-July.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's continue with July 13th.
Yeah, we always do it that second week usually. I'll see if I think we can probably leave it the way, because I don't think anyone's really around the week before even to kind of do it. And then the town, the next one thing I wanted to bring up on the agenda is also the town is having their Independence Day celebration. They do that it's on Wednesday the 3rd, but it's still kind of close.
Yeah.
Let's do 13th then. July 13th is okay.
Okay.
One final question. Is 7:30 too early?
I know every year we kind of talk about pushing it back, right? And
Yeah.
it's the little kids that kind of keep it
because it would be
tricky.
bright by 7:30. It would be pretty bright.
It's still a
The
little bit light
idea is
out.
for us we know that it's going to be bright walking out. We wanted to have it darker when we're walking back.
Right. And then we've stalled, we've walked slowly, we've added extra time as we're zigging our way up, but I don't know what else. It's really bright when we start. I just don't know.
Should we just start at 8? Even the extra half hour would help, or no?
Jignasha, what time is Duke? What time is Duke starting theirs?
Good point.
8 p.m. 8 p.m. They are starting at 8.
We're starting at 8? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay starting it at 8 if you guys want to push it
Yeah.
back a little bit.
I think that probably makes sense.
We can
Okay.
experiment, see how it goes.
I like it.
Okay. All right. Just, I know it's not on the agenda, but since we kind of talked about it a little bit, I did get an email from Rec about they are going to have community tables at the Independence Day celebration, which is July 3rd from 6 to 10 at the municipal complex. So if anyone wants to be there to man a table, I'll be away. We don't have to have one. I figured I would just throw it out to see if anyone wants to have a table that day.
You know, we have done it in the past, and everyone's so pumped up for July 4th and all everything that's going on. It hasn't really been that successful. I'd rather put our efforts towards Franklin Day.
Okay, that makes sense. I think so. I think that works.
Is there anybody else? I know, Jim, sometimes you've done that event on 4th of July. Are you okay with us skipping it this year?
Absolutely. I think it is a missed opportunity because, you know, you do get a lot of people from town and a lot of people do stop by. If we have maps to hand out, that's the thing too. But
Yeah,
I'm not sure
if
if
there
I
were
can make
maps.
it. Yeah.
I mean, I could get you maps. The only thing is that the tight time frame is going to be a little tough for me because I'm going to be going away on vacation. So it might be a
That's
little
fine.
hard.
You know,
Okay.
yeah, we can always find other opportunities.
Yeah.
Like Anne Marie said, you know, Franklin Day, that's a big draw as well.
When is Franklin Day?
I think it's September.
End of September?
Yeah.
Middle of September. I just had to look it up the other day. Franklin Day,
I
2024.
think it's 28th or 29th.
28th.
I thought it was at the end. And that's
28th.
that's a big draw. That's a must.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
So
be there for
is-
that.
It's back to being normal Franklin Day and not a whole bunch of them like they did recently?
No, September 28th. Yep, just the one day, Colonial Park, 12 to 5.
And bands.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, let's we can get that on our calendars. And Tara, if we could get maps for that, and you know, that would be great. And I know you said there's been some problems with getting the big map, the things to do map.
Yes, I'll keep
That's
trying
what
to
we
work.
like to give away.
That's
Yeah.
a map.
I'll keep trying to work on it. Yeah, I keep pushing, so I'll let you know.
Okay. Okay, great. And moving on to old business, the Pathways and Trails Plan, we already went over that.
Yep.
National Trails Day. Thank you everybody who came out. Jim, thank you for your tent. It was great. Pravesh, we were looking for your native plant folks. We're not sure what happened. I meant to reach out to you.
So there was a big fiasco too. Like, you know, I was out of the country too, trying to. My mom was not feeling very well, so I had to rush over to India. So I was there, and I tried my best to get over back and try to follow up and try to email with people, you know, from there. But it didn't work out. Because I didn't contact them in time, they got involved with Flemington. So they actually. So they had a plan with Flemington Township instead of the one that I had planned out. So
okay,
that was all the way my fault. But again,
that's okay.
Yeah,
well, that's no problem. We just weren't sure. We weren't sure. We weren't sure if we dropped the ball in some way or what was going on.
And again, like, you know, I had every plans of it, and I had spoken to all the people who would, you know, be coming over and help. And because I didn't get them back. And I wasn't around, so that was my biggest
okay.
That's
so
okay.
we'll
yes.
In the future we'll find another opportunity for that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so but it was a successful event. We didn't have a ton of people come. We had two we had two
Well, that's what
surprise
I
people.
wanted to change as well, like, so people do get interested and come over.
Yeah. But yeah, it's oftentimes we do have a nice turnout on that event through using the Parks and Rec sign up site, but not this time.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments about National Trails Day before we move on?
No, I think we're good.
The bird blind repair replacement. Is that just a
Nothing.
holder?
Yeah, it's just a holder, nothing yet.
Okay. Any for the Naaman Williams green infrastructure? Any updates there?
So I'm meeting with Carl next week, and I did meet with him briefly before, so I have to give him the list of things that he needs. But it's gonna just basically be, buying the trees and figuring out, what type of labor is needed and what they can do versus what we need to figure out. So I'm meeting with him at Naaman Williams. I think it's Tuesday morning. It's either Tuesday or Wednesday morning. So I'll have a better update next time.
Okay.
Same thing with the trails brochures and maps. This has been, so we're basically in a weird period of time because in our printing bid, we're basically like out to bid for printers. So it's been a real, like I have an existing quote. I'm not sure if I can use it still because now we're in the process of getting a new printer. So I've been working on that with the administrative assistant. She has been really helpful, but we're just trying to piece together. So I'm hoping I can get those printed because once, the print shop is given the ability to go ahead, it should only take a day to print them.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's like, it's just getting it there. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get it though. I'll get it there.
Okay, next item is trail walks and events. In addition to the July 13th Firefly Walk, any other ideas or volunteers? Oh, I'm sorry, it's July 13th and September 28th. Those are the next two that we have on the list. September 28th for Franklin Day.
Chris, is I can't remember, is the summer, the running series, is that over now or is that still on? I can't remember. I feel like, did it end May 22nd or something or no?
It did.
Yes.
So do you want to continue that or?
I do. I'm not sure when I'll be able to revisit it. So juggling family stuff and work, etc. So I'll have to get back to everyone about when I would begin again. But I think it was a good event. And yeah, we had a couple regular members that joined us just about every week.
Nice.
But they were delighted. And I think what we're going to do is move the event to different parts of town because of where people can access it. And Vanessa had some great ideas, and we can talk more about that as we plan offline.
Yeah. The only other idea that I had, and we would have to figure it out, but I think Vanessa, especially because you're on the open space committee, you might be able to work with Mary Lauco. She's the shade tree representative for us. I was thinking maybe it would be interesting in the fall to have like a tree walk kind of, and maybe we can work that out with the Shade Tree Commission, like a partnership between us and them. And it would kind of be walking through one of our wooded areas and maybe someone can point out what types of trees they are, why it's important, just something to kind of like, I like partnering with other commissions and things when we can, that might work.
That's a great idea. I like that.
Yeah, so maybe we can talk about that at the open space meeting and see if there's an interest from Shade Tree Commission.
That sounds great. Any other thoughts? Anybody else want to have a hike on their trail either this summer or this fall? Okay. If that changes, let us know and we can get something out there. Tara, I know that you had mentioned to me about the meeting calendar. Did you want to talk about that?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. So last year and the year before, we canceled our July meetings because it's just a break. A lot of the boards, commissions, committees in the town do cancel with the exception of like the planning board, zoning board, they usually have to meet. We don't, because we got through all the pathways and trails plan work, you know, we don't have anything pressing for July. So are you guys okay with, well, two things. The first is, are you okay with canceling the July meeting? And the second is, next year when we make the calendar, because I think this was my mistake and I forgot, remind me that the July meeting should not be the in-person meeting. So when we make it next year, June should be the in-person meeting, and then virtual July and August. But anyway, so for July, we don't have anything pressing on the agenda. I know people go on vacations and stuff. So my thought was I can cancel it again, but I just wanted to get everybody's thoughts.
And then we meet in person in August to plan for.
I think our August meeting is scheduled for virtual, but we can switch them. So if you want to meet in person, virtually, right? Oh my God, in person, virtually. I think I'm starting to get a little weird right now for some reason. Okay. It's been like a long day, right?
Almost 9, don't worry.
Yes, I am starting to get, okay. If we want to change it to meet in person, we can absolutely do that. But let me check the meeting schedule real quick, just to be sure I'm correct here.
The next August is the 14th, right?
Yes, we have it. August 14th.
I'm at a conference the 14th, so I'd be happier if we did the virtual August and live September, but that's just
yes. I think
every time there's something on the calendar, I look at my calendar and I'm like, I can't. There's always something in the way.
I think that's why we made August virtual, because that week that's when I go, like, usually on my vacations I bring my computer, but that one in August I don't bring my computer. So, but I will. If we do it virtually, I'll bring it and I can do it from there. That's no problem. I do that kind of stuff all the time. That's no big deal.
That's fine. I was just, because we haven't seen each other, I thought just to gear up again for the fall, but that's fine.
Yeah. Our next in-person meeting is supposed to be not until October. I mean, we can switch it to September if you want.
Yeah, I think September would be okay. July and August is both like a vacation month, kind of.
Yeah.
So let's keep September as in person, and then
when's our reorg meeting?
We can move. Sorry.
When's our reorg meeting?
It's in January.
Okay.
Let me see. Yeah, so December. We can talk about the dates. January we will adopt them. Right? No, I'm sorry. So December we'll adopt the dates. Yeah.
That's when we can revisit like the balance of the in-person and virtual dates. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, but we're thinking of September in person. Do we have to vote on that?
If you want, I can switch it to in person. And yeah, if I can get it, well, I would need a vote on both. So if you want to not meet in July, a vote on that. And then if you want to change September, that's no big deal. It's just, I just have to renotice it.
So then let me move that we, can I move both things at once, or do we have to do one at a time?
Hold on one second. Before we do that, because like September, so we tend to do our back to school nights on Wednesdays in September.
Okay.
And so for me, I mean, I'm only 20 minutes from the municipal building, but so is September 18th going to be is that the meeting? Is it the third Wednesday, Tara, or the second Wednesday?
Second Wednesday. So it is September 11th.
I also need to check my back to school nights.
Yeah.
We can, I mean, if you want, you can all email me about that, but. Or we can just keep it October, and then next time when we make our meeting schedule, we should just be the summer months. Jignasha's right. They really should all be virtual, June, July, August. Because we don't have to, I think we were making it like in person, virtual, in person, but we can move. It doesn't have to be, so regimented.
Mm-hmm. I have 18 and 19th back to school nights, so I'm good, I guess. But yeah.
Okay. And I think, I don't know. I think mine's either 11 and 18 or 18 and 25. I have a feeling it's 11 and 18. So either we could I just might either we could keep it virtual, or I'll just might be a little bit late.
Whatever works for you guys. I guess
Yeah, I
probably should
defer to you,
let's-
Vanessa.
yeah.
This is,
Yeah.
September 11, usually we have a program in front of the library, so I will
that's
be
right.
late as well.
Oh, right, right.
Yes.
Yeah, I think.
The memorial we have.
mm,
So maybe
Unless
we should
sometimes
just-
they may have a different day, but most of the times just right on that
On the
same
day.
day.
Yeah.
That makes
We
sense.
can also keep it as it is if we want and just, whatever works.
Okay. Could we
Yeah,
leave it now and then maybe at our August meeting, we can revisit it to determine once I have
Yeah.
a better idea of the
Yeah.
calendar?
yep, no,
Right.
that's
Sure.
fine.
Right.
But
Okay.
July, if we are gonna cancel it, I'm gonna have to do that pretty soon.
Okay, so we
Well,
can
I think it's
make
safe
a
to cancel
motion.
July. I'll move to
Okay.
cancel the July meeting.
I second.
Second, oh,
Third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hearing no nays or abstention, motion carries.
Okay, so that
Um,
means our next meeting, just so everyone knows, so we won't meet in July. Our
14th.
next meeting is August
14.
14th. Yep, August 14th.
Okay. The last item on our agenda is the updates on trail conditions. Does anybody have anything that they wanted to highlight regarding their trail conditions?
Just quickly, the weeds and the overgrowth of woody plants in the fields is getting to be horrendous at Negri. And we really have to commit to a firm, I know we can't do burning all the time because it's very dependent on many things, but we have to keep to a mowing schedule and think about using herbicides there because it's getting out of control and there will be no grassland.
Okay, and I did talk to the fire safety service, so they basically just ran out of time and resources to burn at Negri this year. So next year, I told them Negri is the priority. So Griggstown, if that has to be the second one burned, because basically what happened is by the time they were able to burn, we were already into nesting bird season. So that was the conundrum, but he said he will do his very best to get there first next year. So but I agree with you. That would solve a lot of problems.
Could we still mow and then
Yes.
there'll be enough to burn? Because all the,
Yes.
I mean, something has to happen or it's gone.
Okay, I will make sure I let DPW know to get on that.
I know there's different times of the year. I mean, we want to get bird nesting done and all that, but
Yeah.
it's looking really bad.
Okay. All righty.
Okay. I just want to
to.
comment that I think that I was grateful that the Bunker Hill Natural Area was prepared for National Trails Day, and they
Mhm.
even removed the fallen tree that was blocking a large portion of the yellow trail. So
Good.
I appreciate that.
Good. I'm
Um,
glad.
Good.
I left my ratchet, my orange ratchet, because the post still didn't have a chain or anything on it. So just until they get something up there, I left that there.
Okay.
And there's still the graffiti issues in the parking lot.
Yeah, I know. All righty.
And
I
Tara,
made a
Okay.
note.
any
Thank you.
key? Tara, any update on a key for kiosk key for?
The kiosk key. So the
Mm.
kiosk at John Clyde, I was given a key that I think may work. So I just got it when I met the other day, like 2 days
Nice.
ago.
Okay.
I'm gonna go over and try it. The key at Bunker Hill, there is something jammed in there. So I told DPW that has to come off and they have to put a new lock in because you can see inside. It looks like a small piece, like a paper clip or something almost. So I did try and fish it out of there, but no good. I think I might have accidentally like jammed it in more. But they said they know about it and they're gonna put fix the lock. So I'll let you know if this key I have works. Jignasha for John Clyde.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Can we have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hearing no nays or abstention, motion carries. Thank you all for a great meeting.